So I'm gonna go over, first we're gonna talk about owning the mobile homes versus just doing lot rent and what fits your lifestyle, because there is gonna be a difference between if you wanna do just lot rent and not versus what we call park owned. Lot rent is where basically we're gonna buy these parks where we don't own any of the trailers. We're just gonna charge lot rent. Who's familiar with lot rent versus? You understand that concept? Everybody understands that concept? Lot rent versus owning the trailers. So for you guys, how many guys here are not doing real estate full time? Okay, so I don't know if I would advise, if you're not in real estate full time and don't have a team, to go jumping into park owned homes, because it's gonna be some, it's work at first, especially if it's a value add rehab. Most of these parks we're buying, depending on how many units, it could be a 3 to 12 month rehab job, depending on the size of the park. Because most of the parks we're buying are distressed, right? So we're getting such great deals. Not all of them, but most of them. And the ones I'm not buying that are distressed, I am paying a little bit more premium for them because I don't have to do any work to them. So it's a less, lower cap rate on them. But these right here, you're not gonna make as much money on these deals, right? Because you're gonna get, the average lot rent, I think in America is probably $250 to $350. Is that about right for you guys in y'all's areas? Yeah. Park average is gonna probably run 600 to 1,000. If I'm a chiropractor, I'm a business owner, or I'm a high net worth earner like just say I'm a chiropractor, I make my W-2 $800,000 a year, $650,000 a year. But I don't have a team, I don't have anybody. I'm not going to do this while I'm trying to, because I only make money if I'm doing chiropractor work, and I can't focus on this, because you're gonna have some problems with this, right? I'm gonna probably do this deal right here. I'm gonna probably go after lot rents. Unless I find a park-owned home that's not a rehab. If I can find a park-owned home that's nicer trailers, they're 5 to 10 years old, I'll go ahead and do this deal if I'm just a business owner. If I'm a professional real estate investor, like me, I like doing this because I have a team set up, because you're gonna need a team. Because here's the fallacy about property management. Who here has property management? How many people in here have gotten burned by property management? It's to really scale this thing, you want to do in-house property management. Otherwise, they can eat your lunch. So you have to, and I'm just trying to give you guys perspective so you can evaluate. And y'all ask questions anytime you want.
For your in-house property management, you pay them a percentage, salary, or what's that like?
Oh no, it's like, they're just on, they're like hourly and salary.
Hourly employees?
Yeah.
Got it.
I got 3 girls in the office, taking all the calls, all the problems, and
Did you set up a separate company that goes to, or it's all tied?
it's all together. Yeah. So you just have to. I'm giving you the difference so you can distinguish what your model wants to be. There's no right, there's no wrong. Some hedge fund money is all going after this. Blackwater is all going after this. Warren Buffett's going after this because it's super passive, right? Which means what? Which means that there's an opportunity over here because nobody wants this. I've got 4 deals right now from a broker in Louisiana that I'm going to look at, that he pitched them to hedge funds, and they're freaking phenomenal deals. Right, look at them. The hedge funds don't want to mess with them because they're park owned, and they're $2 to $5 million deals. So it tells you there's an opportunity on owning the park, but there is a trade-off and a sacrifice. It's going to be a little bit more. You're going to have to deal with maintenance. You're going to have to deal with all these different things. But the reason I like owning the mobile homes versus, say owning apartments, is like, dude, it's not that much. If somebody trashes my single family home, it cost me, last year I lost $40,000 on one single family home that got trashed. Somebody trashes an apartment unit, that can still cost you about $20,000 if somebody trashes. If somebody trashes my mobile home, The worst they can do is probably 8, maybe 10, but on average, it's usually called, and when they punch holes, they gotta change the floor, it's like 5 to 7 grand. But my rent's still the same as, you know, an average apartment or a single family home, right? So you have to ask yourself, how involved do you wanna be? Do you wanna just be a truly passive? If you're gonna buy these at probably a 6 to 8 cap. Because it's so competitive, right? I can buy these at a 12 to 15 cap, right? But this is super passive because you don't have no maintenance. You don't have to do. Maybe all you gotta do is cut the grass. That's it. So you ask yourself what you want to do. I can't distinguish that for you. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm. Are those on actuals or those on projected? It's like the 12 to 5 you're buying on actuals, or like current, like the income it's currently producing, or the projected?
So the last 3 parks I bought where the cap rate as it stands was a 13.8 and a 13.9 was the last 2 as I bought it. But the rents were, for instance, the rents, Zachary, Louisiana bought one at 20 units, beautiful. It was a 13.8, but the rent was $775. Average rent in Zachary is $850, $900. I'm just going there and raise the rents. I'm bringing it back to the bank in 6 months. But it's going to bring the cap rate to probably a 17, right?
So you're buying off actuals?
Yeah.
Or we buy.
It's safer to do it that way.
Well, we're buying off
And
projections.
in multifamily, you kind of have to buy off projected right now, it's just,
Yeah.
because it's so competitive.
That's why I like this space, guys. This is why I'm in this space, guys. This the competition. Like, look at, you used to better buy an apartment complex 10 years ago at a 10 cap, sometimes even 11, 12 cap. You can't find that anymore. Everybody's chasing it, right? So this is why I'm in this space. I've been in this space for 3 years. I saw the writing on the wall, and now all the money's moving towards this. So get in now before it becomes, you know, what Wall Street's done to apartments, right? And Grant. So does this make sense? Does this give you perspective? Actually, how much work do I want to do? Do I want to be really passive, or do I want to, you know, set up a team? And you can get, and if it's a nice park and it's not a value add, and maybe you're a business owner, it's maybe the trailer's at 5 years old and you're buying it as is, you're getting a good deal, maybe you're buying it at 12 cap. Go ahead and get property management. But I'm telling you, property management I buy a lot of deals from mismanaged parks from property managers. That's a lot of these deals come from.
Is the eviction process easier when it's park owned? Or you can just tell them
It's the same. I mean, I can tell. I've got maybe 15 lot rents just that were part of the deal when I bought it. It's the same thing. You can give them a notice, and they got to move that trailer. And the problem is most of them don't move it. You take the trailer.
But the eviction moratorium, like it's going on right now, it falls on top of the mobile home.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I can't evict them, but we still evict them. And I'm glad you brought that. That's for you guys that are struggling with evictions, like we're evicting them based off breaking the lease. You can't evict somebody for non-payment, which you can, like, be walking around like a freaking crazy person looking for trash, animals, dog, thing. Not supposed to have any of that. Cigarette butts, we write them up, send them you broke the lease, then we can send it to the judge and they evict them. You cannot evict people for non-payment, but you can evict them for breaking the lease. All right, so
How many trailers have you taken back on eviction? So they don't move it, they just pay up, or do they just move out?
I own most of the trailers. I only own I think 10 or 15. I think 10 or 15 lot rents out of the 350 units we have. They've all paid. I've never had to. But from talking to other park owners, if it's an 80s or 90s model trailer, typically they don't have the money to move. It's gonna cost them $3 grand to move the trailer, another $3-4 grand to set it up, and they don't. And you want to be ethical and more. You don't want to do that. I'm not gonna just take somebody's trailer unless they they just can't pay me. There's no way I'm losing money. But I'm gonna give them a chance on that, you know. So, go ahead, Clay.
For the lot rent parks, how are you kind of keeping up from getting too trashy, right?
Too what?
Too trashy.
Yep.
How are you kind of regulating that? You saying, hey, your mobile home's got to be at least 15 years old, or what? How are you doing that?
On lot rent, I would if I'm doing lot rent, which I'm not doing a whole lot of, I would say, hey, look, it's gotta be at least a 2005 and above,
Yeah,
no more than about 50, because then because you get the nicer vinyl side ones.
right.
The vinyl side trailers just look nicer than the old 80s model trailers.
That's something, if you have like a 40-unit park and just lot rent, that place will turn into the hood real quick.
Well, you just put hey, look, this is, you can't.
Restrictions.
After a certain amount of years, I know a lot of these lot rent parks, what they're doing is, after it's like 20 years old,
Yeah,
they make them, hey, look, you gotta upgrade, you gotta buy you a newer trailer.
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
This may be a stupid question, but it seems like, is there a reason you have to carry insurance on a lot rent versus, I mean, I know you would have on a
Well,
apartment,
just basic general liability.
just general
Yeah,
liability.
yeah, no wind or hail, or all that stuff you have when you have a, building.
So besides taxes and insurance, what are your other expenses on a lot rent park?
The septic.
Well, if you, water line busting,
Yeah.
from the main sewer, they're all.
And grass.
But
Yeah.
some are on set, I'd rather have city sewer and city water, that's what you're looking
Yeah.
for. But, I mean, if it's on your side, we had the hurricane bust, one of our, it was on our side, we had to fix it. So it's, anything that's gonna be under the ground on your side, that's not on the city side, if you're doing lot rent, you have to pay for
And
it.
septic tanks are on you?
Is there like a industry standard on the septic? Like if it's 100 mobile home park, is there like a certain size or a certain like square footage that you can pencil in for expense for a septic?
Typically, we change them out to like $300 to $3,500 for a septic. But that usually handles, I think, 2 to 4.
Do you guys do that yourself? Do you guys have the heavy equipment and everything?
No, I don't do that myself.
Okay.
No.
So the mobile home parks are tied into like 4 mobiles can be tied into one?
So, yeah, something like that. And every city and state's different. You know,
Right.
you call your city and say, hey, look, this
What's
was
the
going on, what do I
regulation?
need, what's the standard?
For trash, you doing dumpsters or individual cans?
It depends on the park. All of my parks except for one have dumpsters.
Okay.
They're all dumpsters mostly. So, does this make sense? Does it give you perspective like of what you want to do? So, how many people want to own the parks or own the trailers versus want to do just how many want to own the trailers? Okay. How many want to do lot rent? Just
I'll do
lot
both.
rent.
I'll do that. I'll do both of them.
It's about both.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different, when you own the trailers, a lot of people are doing too. When you own the trailers and they get a certain age, let's say you got a 10-year-old trailer and you've kept that mark for 10 more years, the trailer's 20 years old, it's kind of beat up, you give a lease option on just the trailer. And you do a $1,500 down, lease option fee, and you do like a 10-year note for the same amount of what the rent would be. And you have no more maintenance, you throw all the maintenance underneath them. And by that time, your park's paid off in another 10 years, they get the trailer, but you have no more maintenance and you don't have a mortgage. So that's another strategy of doing if you own the trailers.
So your 3 girls handle 350 units pretty comfortably?
Yeah.
No problem?
No problem. No problem.
In that situation where they own the trailer on the lease option, then they would just convert to a lot rent model?
Yes, after it's paid off the 10 years, which historically speaking, 80% of them are given back to you.
That's right. Right.
And that's a fact, I've seen it happen.
And since the financing is a little bit different for mobile homes, do you ever owner finance those where you, offset repair costs?
Yeah, that's what a lease option is, the same thing, on a finance lease option, yeah, it's just a different way of wording it, but it's all the same stuff. So it's a different little model here, I mean, you could do that if you wanna do that.
Is that those girls' full-time job, is just taking the calls from the park, making sure collections get?
Yep, that's all they do.
3 of them manage 350 units, it's about 1 in 100.
Yeah.
One person would manage about 100 units.
Well, look, they do other stuff in the office, one of them helps Patty with whatever she needs with them, the flip. They're doing other, it's not like you're getting calls all day long, every day. It's really not that bad. I mean, some days, we may not get a call for 3 days, and then the next day we get 5 calls in one day, and then we may go 3 or 4 days and nothing again. It's not, and it really depends on how old the trailer. If you're gonna buy a bunch of 80s model trailers, you're gonna have calls, obviously. That's why I'm trying to get nicer vinyl sided trailers, and when we go and rehab these things, we're gonna get into that too in the rehab section. We're going and putting them nice, like we're putting floors like this in a $10,000 trailer.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
They last.
It hardens the property.
You attract different.
Hardens the property. I wanna harden that asset, because that's your biggest, you wanna harden the roof. So we do all 10 roofs when it starts leaking, We do a tin roof, it cost me $1,500 for a tin roof, it's lifetime, I'm done. I'll put these floors, lifetime. It's
Chris,
fine.
tell them what floors we
What-
saw in that last park we went into, what they did with the floors.
I don't like that, I don't like
You didn't
that.
like
No,
it?
I didn't like
Oh,
that.
I did.
What was it? They just, the underfloor, they just coated it like a gym.
Polyurethane.
Yeah, I thought it looked nice.
I mean, yeah, but no, not as nice as, I'd rather do this, cause this is lifetime too. I mean, you can, and like, some of these people, like, they're not gonna take care of it. You know, the dog's gonna crap on the floor, kid's gonna drop juice and all that. Cigarettes out, but it doesn't matter. This stuff is hard as a rock. So it's the vinyl planks. They're about $1.50 to $2 a square foot. Is that what you're paying for them too?
Yeah, we pay $1.50 for
Yeah.
something very similar to this.
Yeah, and it's freaking awesome. And do not go with carpet. Do not put
No.
carpet. Do not put we're buying a bunch of it. We're getting all the whites and grays and painting. We stick into like whites and grays. It just looks really pretty.
And you're not buying double wides, just single wides.
Yeah, that's right. Do not buy double wides, folks. I mean, double wides, they are almost like clockwork. That seam in the middle where it splits it always busts and leaks water and molds the damn poultry. That's done that to me multiple times, and I'm gonna pay double for a double wide because the cost.
To
I'm
move
getting
them.
charged $2,200 to $3,000 to move a single wide. A double wide is like $8 to $10 grand to move. And I can't get that much more in rent for the double wide. I can get an extra, $100 or $200, and it takes up too much space. Just go with the single wides. Keep it simple.
Chris, what is the average size, did you say, of your parks?
The minimum I like to buy is 24 units. I'm glad you're up because if you don't do more than 24, it's hard to make cash flow after property management. You want to do at least 24 units.
So in one park,
Yeah.
What about,
That's what I've noticed. It didn't make any, because I bought an 8 unit. I've been trying to sell it. There's not enough units, right?
what about like the $1,000 a month that the park owned? What class of trailer are you looking to get that rent?
That's going to be about a B minus. So the one I'm getting 1,000 to 1,100. That's Gonzales, Louisiana. Denham Springs, Louisiana. They're working class, middle class areas. They're next to plants. I like investing in ports, by ports. That's why I invest heavily in Baton Rouge. New Orleans is a good spot. Anywhere that you guys live by ports. Houston. What's below Houston? They're the ports you have.
Corpus Christi, Galveston.
Galveston.
Texas City.
That's gonna be, there's gonna be tons of
A-town.
jobs, yeah. I like ports because we don't see the ebbs and flows of crashes and economic. And that's the thing, I mean, even if it crashes, historically speaking, I'm just gonna get all the people that are renting condos for $2
Yeah.
or $3 grand a month, they're gonna come down to this,
Yeah.
right? So it's bulletproof, right?
And is your screening process any different than like your apartments?
Great, I'm glad, okay, so screening, right? We use IDI, whatever, anybody, you know what IDI is. They tell us all the information about them, been arrested, or it's worth every penny. And this piece on the management side, or on the screening is so huge, because I'm telling you, have one bad tenant, they will wreck your park, and then they'll get all the rest of the good tenants to move out. So take your time, even if it takes, a month, 30 days to get one rented, get somebody that's got 3 times the income of the rent. No excuses, nothing.
You're doing a 3X?
Yeah.
I do 2.5 in the apartment.
Yeah.
What are your average units? 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2 twos?
I mean, I love the 3 twos. Right now, Clayton has got the Freedom model. It's Clayton Mobile Homes, but it's a Freedom model. Right now, the prices went up because of COVID, but it told me after the first day going back down, I can get a brand new Freedom Edition, which is a stripped down model. It's not gonna have all the crown molding and nice stuff. 38.9 installed. With an AC, with the central.
Wow.
And I can get $1,000 to $1,100 a month.
And Clayton, we find is the best quality.
Yeah, I find Clayton's really, really good quality.
What's your monthly cash flow on these things?
On like a 24 to 30 unit, $6,500 to $8,500 after expenses, after debt. Depending on what breaks. $6,500 to $8,500. On my bigger units, the 40 units and the 30 units. Kyle, what's our cash on that 30 we have for?
About 7.
7 grand after all expenses, okay. But that's a lower end, that park's in Bonifay, Florida. It's more of it's below working class. It's probably, it's probably a D class area, D plus.
what's IDI costing you to screen?
$1 per screen. could do a monthly subscription where you pay a certain amount, or you could just do it we just did it per person.
And they come like search your office and make sure it's set everything up like that.
TLO does that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Who's doing sketch? Anybody using IDI?
Yeah.
Y'all like IDI better than?
That's good.
We got pretty good data.
Yeah.
We use TLO and they require, like, they do background checks on you and then they come to your office and make sure they're legit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Does anybody use LexisNexis?
I had LexisNexis, I got rid of it, it was too much. They did the same thing, they wanted, it's like I was trying to get a job at the CIA,
Chris, is Clayton hold the paper on any of these whenever you get the new ones? Zero down or what?
So, I'll let these questions, I'll keep going with these questions, I'm trying to like give you everything, that's a great question. So legacy so a year and a half ago, I bought 15 brand new trailers to haul into some parks. Some I'm waiting to park with Kyle, some in Louisiana, and they were doing a special where they hold the note. I only had to put 5% down. So I bought 15 trailers and only had to put 5% down, and they did do you remember what the note was, Kyle? It's a 10-year note?
Yeah.
At 7%? Does that sound right?
It was a little higher.
It's a little higher, it's 8%. Maybe it was 8%. But it's temporary, just to get me, because I only had to put 5% down.
Right.
Versus if I go to my regular, smaller community bank, I'm putting 20% down in every trailer.
Right.
So they did 5% down. I hauled all the trailers in, strapped it on, stabilized it, refinanced, got all my money back.
What do the loans look like on the actual parks? Are you getting interest only and
Yes.
I'm hovering at 3-4%? What kind of loans are you getting?
Yeah,
All
so-
community banks?
Yeah, community bank. So I'm doing interest only. On the rehab, on the value add ones that need work, we're doing interest only for a year.
Yeah.
And we're doing, they're giving me 5% interest right now.
5%.
At a 20-year.
Okay.
Which is not, it's not terrible, folks. I mean, I can't get in, like I say, there's a caveat. I can't get institutional money unless I'm doing, you can get institutional money on lot rent. That's another thing I want to tell you. You can get a 30-year note with these big, JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo. You can do a non-recourse on the lot rent. They don't want to hold the trailers. They look at them as like a car. It's not a good asset. So,
Can you finance the trailers?
yeah, I finance the trailers with the smaller community banks. That's what we're about to go into the flow chart of all that. But yeah, smaller community banks, then you're not gonna get the best terms. You're gonna get a 15 to 20 year. Try to get a 20. And then you'll get 5% locked in for 5 years. They'll readjust it, prime plus whatever the stock market is doing after 5 years. So,
Can you do a conventional on the lot rent with, like JP Morgan Chase and then finance the mobile homes?
if they're
Have
brand,
to-
okay, here's if you want to try to get institutional money, this is what they're gonna want. They're gonna want paved roads, city sewer and water.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, still.
And the trailers can't be, I think they can't be older than 5 to 7 years old. So basically, it's gotta almost be a brand new construction mobile home park, which
Yeah.
I've looked into doing brand new construction. It doesn't
So
really-
expensive.
It does, it's so expensive. It's better just to buy, I think, maybe somebody can go, I think there's like 30,000 mobile home parks about this, that baby boomers own in the United States. It may be more, maybe double that, maybe somebody can Google it. But they're all owned by like people that are 60 or 70 or older that are all gonna be sold. And make sure you guys remind me when we get to the flow chart too about owner finance. There's a lot of big opportunity. We've done a few owner finance deals. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wanna hear more about the developing mobile home parks, what your thoughts are on that. We don't have to dive into it now, but.
Yeah, remind me when we get into the flow chart. But
You developer or something?
if I'm gonna develop a mobile home park, it's gonna probably be that senior living in Florida right now. That is huge.
Yeah.
It's high end, but they're doing super high end, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really nice, but I don't have that much. I'm just going after older, distressed, burnout landlords.
Are you putting each one of these in a special purpose entity, or how are you kind of
Yeah,
doing that?
every park's its own LLC. Don't put them all together because you
You do
get
it in
sued in one
Delaware, or keep it in the same state?
Keep it in the same state, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure every park, so instance for our parks, every park we buy, it's whatever the street name is.
Yeah.
Willow Mobile Home Park, Florida Street Mobile Home Park, Hammock Mobile Home Park, and just its own LLC. Do not bulk them up together. You get sued, they'll go after everything you got. You need layers of protection at corporate bail.
I started doing Delaware SPDs, and then there'd be licensed to do business in whatever state.
Yeah, that's just
That makes
extra
2 layers. of-
2 layers, yep.
They'll never, I don't think it's actually ever been penetrated.
Yeah, I doubt it.
You take ownership, and put it in ownership ownership in the LLC, though, you don't need to, you don't have your LLC in the LLC, that's the property.
When we go to LLC, everything gets flowed to you personally.
Right.
So I'm signing off on the loan
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
That's the problem too, that the caveat of the community bank, you're signing, you're in the, it's not non-recourse. They will come after you
Yeah.
if you don't pay. But you put in 20% down, you know, if you're buying like I'm showing you direct to sell, you have so much equity. I mean, we have to hedge ourselves, folks. Like I have so much equity. I mean, who knows? I'm gonna get in a bind. I mean, to get the best. My job is to get. Well, no, I got a loan.
Yeah.
I got a loan for it. Community bank, 20 year, 5%, 20-year amortization. That's what we're gonna get into the flow chart. Get set up with the community banks.
So are you putting 20% down purchase and they're also lending on the rehab as well?
Here's what I love about community banks. Like, they're so, once you develop a relationship, it's just like me and you talking. Like, they're like, hey, what you need? On that 24 unit, that paid 210, I put no money down.
Yeah.
I bought it for no money. But I had the rehab, I did the out of pocket for the rehab. But I let the cash flow of the park, I just do it slow. Right? You let the cash flow of the park slowly do it, and whatever extra income we got from other businesses, we just roll that into it. Now we're into that park for 465, appraised at $1,050,000, and it's grossing 16.5, and it should be getting 17.5 when my son lives in one of the brand new trailers in there for free. So it should be, the real actual numbers are 17.5 on $465,000 worth of debt. What does that? Apartments don't do that. So this is why this is why like, it's just, I can leverage a whole lot less. I don't have to get so much debt on my name to get as much cash flow. And if I get in a bind, I can fire sale this thing for $850, $900 if I get in a bind and make a quick $500,000.
Oh, and you would have a list of people waiting to buy it.
Lined up. And I probably would.
You wouldn't even need a realtor.
Fire sale it.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even need
a.
a.
Probably get 1.2 for it. So, okay, so park on lot rent. Y'all ready to get in a flow chart yet, or do we have more questions before we get into like finding it, like all of it? Go ahead.
Just like analyzing these type of deals, isn't it tough to pull in comps, like when you're looking at?
Comps are gonna be tough. Like it's weird. Like the.
So you just
It's
trying
all
to
over the
analyze what
place.
the land might be worth and.
I was thinking, is it like a mall?
Yeah,
you use
off
the
of
cash
income.
flow, yeah.
Yeah, analyze it off the cash flow. But look, here's the thing with negotiations. I hit them so low. Like, here. Why not? All they can say is no. Don't have low self-esteem. Like, you're here to steal it. Like, if you don't steal it, it's because you got low self-esteem. And you want to be nice and reasonable. You're here. When I say steal it, I don't mean like literally steal it. They have to agree to it. But you have to sell the homeowner and say, listen, Mr. Right? So I have to get it for this price to hedge my bets. I understand you want this price, but if you give me this price, I'm leaving myself open to overpaying and getting myself in a bind. And I just hit them straight. Like, that's very intentional, and that's the honest to God truth. Like, yep.
I want you to bring up, because I don't know when you plan to bring this up, but every park you buy, you need to get in touch with your city, because every city has different rules.
Yes, that's a good
And you
point.
need to make sure that once you pull an old trailer out, that you
Yes,
can put
okay,
another
well,
one
I'm
in.
getting screwed on that park right now, and thank God it's a little small park. So I'm in a little 8 unit. It's one of the first parks I bought. So you have, before you close on these parks, call the city and make sure that you have a question before we go to the flow chart. Yep.
How do you pull in your rent? I mean, do you have your, you go to your office to it,
Yep.
or do you have?
Oh, okay, good point.
And
on
it-
that. Rents.
Because do you have a service?
Do not take any cash. I don't, listen guys, I don't hide any cash. Like, I don't cheat the government. I'm not unethical with money at all. Like, I pay my taxes, and this is why I can get debt. Because I pay my taxes, and my tax returns show I make a lot of money, right? Don't try to take in, and this is, but this is what's awesome about it. All you baby boomers, guess what they've been doing for the past 30 years? All cash.
Mm-hmm.
They show their books are dog shit. It shows they lose $30,000 a year because they put in $100,000 in cash in their pocket, which is great for us because they have no financials and they can't sell it because my bank wants to look at their financials. So their unethicalness turns into our opportunity because they want to do the right thing. And when, guess what? What's the reverse of that? If you do the right thing and you pay all your taxes, you show all your rents and your income, when you go to sell it in 20 years and you got a package of 30 of these and you're selling it to a hedge fund for a multiple of, EBITDA of 7 or 8 times, and you got and you freaking crush it and you sell it for a super, super high premium. Does that make sense? All right. We ready to go to the next step, or we good? So, that's what I was getting to. So when you take the cash, don't take cash, do money orders. Write this down, all money orders. Don't take checks, money orders, they mail it into the office.
I'm sure.
Or
online
Dropbox.
Online payments as well, right?
You can do online, well, I mean, you're dealing with people that live in mobile homes, that not all of them are gonna be,
Have internet.
they're not gonna all have internet, they're not gonna be techie.
Even have internet.
In mobile home parks, they wanna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as far as classifying it, it's just easier for ABCD.
Say that one more time. So how do they classify it now? So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of A, B,
five
C,
is
D.
good and 1 is bad or opposite?
I don't know. I just use it the same as the mobile home, as the apartments. It's a A, B, C, D. I don't know why they switched it because it's a mobile home. Let's use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm assuming 1 is A and 2 is B.
Are you managing these things off of the Google spreadsheet as well, or you guys have like an Appfolio or some other?
The girls at the office are using Google spreadsheets now, but I just told them when we get to, like, I told them, hey, like, we're getting to a point where it's, it's too many. I need to get an app.
Past that point, you got
Yeah.
350.
And she's old school. She's like me. She's 40 years old. They're pencil and paper kind of girls. If it were, and we're not having any problems yet, but that's why I said, hey, look, you're probably gonna start having problems soon if we keep buying one every other month, and we got 800 units. You got to get some kind of technology. It's all.
Appfolio.
Yeah.
Do you have them on salary or?
Appfolio is really hard.
They're all salaries.
Salary.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And we bonus them on,
Incentives is only one.
yeah. All right. So. Anything else before we go to the flow chart? Okay, so let's just start from the basic of finding the deal and then going through the whole flow chart of buying it, hitting debt, manage it, everything. All right, so y'all remember when we talked about yesterday? Finding, right? Best ways, direct mail. Y'all got the list I sent y'all yesterday? Everybody got the list? I mean, that number to get the list, that phone number?
You got the list already for the whole nation or what?
Oh, I just got it list out.
Oh, okay.
Cold call. We'll do something there. Organic. I'm gonna say social media. And realtors.
What your no piece was, it's not supposed to, you're doing a letter.
Yeah. Hey, this is Chris.
It's going in and out of network and it's dropping people.
We're looking to buy more.
Yeah.
If you're interested, call me back. Like, simple, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of these park owners are super old and they're not gonna, and don't get, like I said yesterday, don't get a Filipino. Like, if you're whoever's the best negotiator that speaks the best in your team should be calling these. That's the direct mail. He's just very organic. Chris is buying mobile. Cold calling, skip trace, or driving for dollars. Driving for wheels, I guess you would call it. I bought a park like that, just passing by. Like you gotta start ingraining in your mind. Like everywhere you go, you see trailer parks.
Even our secretaries see trailer parks. Where they go, they write it down and send it.
I guess people just texting me, taking a picture of a sign.
Yeah.
Because they know it. That's why I'm always loud. That's what goes back to the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You buy. I get people from Louisiana inboxing me pictures of a park in South Louisiana somewhere. I said, hey, I'm gonna buy parks to the sign stuff, right? So, really, it's just these four. This is the four things. This is how we got all the regulars.
When you do it with realtors, how do you try to structure a, rental or you buy a contract? Do you do it through the realtor and discuss with them, or you go directly then right to the owner? How do you?
No,
which way you
I don't want to. If all possible, I don't want to do it with realtors.
I understand how much you.
But they still bring me really
Yeah.
good deals.
Yes.
So
Off market.
off mark. I don't. If it's on MLS, I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not a be all do all that I wouldn't buy it, but your chances of buying a good deal in MLS are slim to none. Because as soon as it goes in MLS, all your freshman buyers, remember we talk about freshmen to senior, the people that are pay a premium, your doctors, attorneys, they're gonna jump in there. I lost a deal. Remember that one we lost across the street from the high school, went to Charlie's, the one we lost.
Oh yeah.
He paid like a super premium.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna, after debt, he's gonna cash flow on a 70-unit lot rent park, so he'll probably cash flow $1,000. Because he drove up the price so much, like retarded, right? So that's what I'm saying, that's the problem when it goes in MLS. And people will pay that, because they look at, I don't care, I'll just park money there and it's my retirement in 20 years. I want cash flow now, I don't wanna wait that long. But realtors have been a really good source. Like the last park I bought was a realtor, and I got 4 awesome parks I'm gonna get back, because Ladder and Bloom skip trace my name, or they pulled who bought parks in Louisiana, and they cold called me and said, hey, I got a bunch of parks, I can't sell these to hedge fund money, because we've been selling all these parks, they don't wanna mess with it. So, and they're great parks, they send me pictures, vinyl sided, only 10 years old. So network with all the realtors, but when you're talking to them, tell them, hey, if I'm gonna be your guy, like I'm your guy. Do not call me and try to put me up against somebody else and make us go back and forth. If I deal with you, you send me the deal first, and you give me first opportunity on everything.
So what do you give for them, is what I'm saying, what's your negotiation with them? Do you give them a finder's fee or anything?
They're gonna get paid their 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, for your 6%.
Even if it's off market, they still have their percentage they make.
Yeah.
And even if you buy on contract, you build that in? You
What?
have to pay them, if you buy, so you negotiate on contract with the owner, okay? You have no money down and on contract, you still have to pay that 6% probably to them, is what you negotiate with them, right?
No, if they're not in the middle, like if it's direct to seller, if it's these three right, mail,
Right.
well, I'm not paying a realtor's fee.
Seller pays the realtor.
Seller. But if I'm dealing with realtor, yeah, the realtor is gonna get paid from the seller.
Gotcha.
So you don't, you don't have to worry about it. But that's the four, that's gonna be your 4 best ways. So we're clear on that? So everybody needs to pull this, start mailing, start cold calling, and understand, once you do that, the follow-up game is crucial. And it's funny, what did I tell you yesterday, before Bush Burt came, I said I'm touching him 12 to 15 times, and he said this, didn't he say the same?
Mm-hmm. 7 to 10, I think.
He's gonna say, that's just what I've tracked. It's 12 to 15 times I'm touching these people. So get that in your head right now. You're just going no to get to that yes. Like, it's just how it is.
I find you, Chris, when you talk to them, like you want to try to be relatable, because these people were like, you're what they were when they were younger. So they try to relate to you, and they like that you're a young hustler trying to, get in where they're at. And so they like you.
They appreciate
Yes.
the hustler. They appreciate that. And that follow-up game, that, man, dude, I like you, Rood, you freaking hustler, dude.
We go to get,
When I was
yeah.
years ago.
We go together. We tell them we have 5 kids. Like, we just give them the whole spiel.
Dude, she's my secret weapon. Make her, put on a little short skirt or something.
No, that's not true.
5 kids, and looking, I need to look. I'm out of 5 kids, man. Come on, man. Range Rover she buys. That's the little tactical things I'm pushing on the
They remember you though in the follow up. They remember you.
Me, and I want to imprint into their mind. So 12 to 15 times has been what I've actually tracked over this is 3 to, what's a year in 15 months. Has been how long the average span of all the 8 parks I bought has been 3 to 15 months. The best deal I bought took 15 months.
Isn't that pace on 15 months now?
Oh, Pace, yeah, well, we have, look, that one's longer now, huh? That one's gonna be long by the time, we got one in, don't give all this away. We got people here in Florida that try to go up right there.
I'm good.
But yeah, that one's gonna be probably about 18 months, and I touch them, that's my front end job, I do that, I'm lead acquisition for the mobile home parks, right? So, do that, and then finally, it's all timing, right, it's just timing, like the really good one I bought for $2.5 million, 40 unit, phenomenal area, average rent in there is $1,000 to $1,200 bucks, and it's all rented trailers. Bought it at a 13.2 cap. So, but I hit him with a direct mail piece. He's like, man, I get these letters all the time, but yours looks, handwritten, which make sure you get the guy that make it look handwritten, or just handwrite them. It's not a big list. And he says no. At first I went over there. I talked to him. They give you some absorbent. I paid 2.3 for it. He wanted 2.8 for it when I first started talking to him. And as I kept following up with him, I called him a year and 3 months later for about the 15th time, and his wife was leaving. You see what I'm saying? And he needed to break it up. So so it's just timing. If you guys are wholesaling and just doing direct mail quote, it's timing. No different.
It sounds the same as like any other sales follow-up process.
It's no different.
Real life stuff. What are some common objections though that you get that might be different from like a single family seller?
A different objection.
Like different sorts of objections.
Well, I mean, these people are more sophisticated, first of all.
Yeah, they're somewhat more sophisticated sometimes. I'm just looking for pain. I'm looking for problems. Problems equals motivation equals a deal. And I'm probing for problems. And I'm going to look at the park. If I know it's distressful, look at it. You got trash all over the place. You got girls walking around half naked, look like they're on crystal meth. Like, you got some issues in that park, and I know there's a problem, right? And I'm going to exploit that. I'm going to hit them. Now, there is a time where you may want to stop. If they tell you, like, dude, I'm never selling this park. You gotta use your good judgment. You may get some people that say, hey, I'm never gonna sell this park because it's been in my family for 20 years, it's in great shape, you're wasting time. I'm not gonna get that person. I'm looking for I'm not right now, maybe in a couple of years, and that's the ones I'm gonna get.
Sure.
All right, so we got the deal. We got it under contract, right? Due diligence, right? So what I'm gonna do, what are we looking for? The first thing we're gonna do is what? Call the what? The city. Make sure that you can haul in new trailers when the old trailers are bad, or if you can't haul in new trailers, what is the ordinance on that? Is it gotta be a certain year model? Call city. Then, city sewer and water, find that out. Rent roll and expenses.
If it does have their own septic tank, you need to get all the details on when they service that.
Yeah.
Because that's a pricey upcharge.
Well, when you go to switch it over to your name, if you unless it's single family. But then I want to know, okay, this is what I'm looking for too when I'm evaluating these things. I'm looking for uncaptured appreciated rents over time. That's the biggest thing I'm really looking for. Where's the rent now? Where can it go? Is it at the top of the market? Is it below? I just bought a 30 unit in freaking Denham Springs. The rents are he's got the rents at $500 a month. The average rent in there is $900 to $1,000. That's the one I paid $750 to appraise 1.8. That shows you how much. So that's what I'm looking for.
Called lost students too.
Yeah. I make up names as I go. Like I'm from South Louisiana. They let me do that. Maybe average means. call some single, like smaller, like, lower end single family homes that'll probably be doing some single family homes that are like, you know, some older houses, not nice new construction, but, you know.
Was that the rate?
What's that?
Rent rolls.
Rent roll and expense. I should probably have a big mama rate, that's on the top right. So, uncaptured appreciated rents. Can I take the rent up so I can force appreciation, get that new value, refinance, and pull my money back out? All right, condition of trailers. Right?
You doing inspections on all the trailers, like you're
Yeah.
doing inspections on all the trailers?
Yeah, go walk all the trailers, just so you know what you're getting yourself into. Typically, you know, you're gonna get, $5,000 to $10,000 as far, if they're destroyed. It's gonna cost you $5,000 to $10,000. $10,000 would be the absolute max. That's what's gonna, you know.
What's the percentage of you getting access to tenants, or like the park owner allowing you access as far as like disturbing the tenants or them wanting to
That's
set
what
up?
that's what I was right next. Go talk to tenants. They will give you all the scoop of why that park is being sold. They'll say, well, the owner doesn't fix anything anymore, because why, he's going to run out of money, or something's going on financially. Motivated sellers lie, folks.
Yeah.
They lie.
You get the motivation from them.
You go to the tenants, go talk to the tenants, hey, what's happening? But most of the time they don't, I don't tell them I'm buying the park because the owner didn't want, but you tell them you're insurance agent, same thing we do with wholesale, right?
Yeah.
When we go on here. I'm insurance agent here, or I'm a contractor here to look and see, what needs to be done. Yeah, anything wrong with the trailer? Go ask every one of the tenants, hey, anything wrong? I'm here for the insurance, I'm trying to get an overall view of what's wrong. Oh, yeah, that damn owner, that's been leaking over there for 6 months. AC's been making noise, I got a plumbing issue, like, and then that if he's not fixing nothing, there you gotta motivate yourself, right? And that knows, then you know, I don't have, like, let me tell you guys.
bring her, if she starts
a piece
talking,
of
bring her back
information
to me.
that'll help you. This ARV minus 30% repair value, I'm always making an offer like that. Dude, I don't make an offer based off of repairs, based off of the ARV. Guess how I make my offer? Motivation. Do you think I'm gonna offer somebody who I know is not paying the bank or is a distressed mobile home park, who's got a bunch of issues, 70% minus ARV, all that stupid shit the gurus are telling you to do on you're losing so much equity, you gotta find their bottom. So if you know they're motivated, hit them really low. I make my offer based off of motivation. And a lot of you guys that are wholesaling probably already know that.
Are you doing HVACs or wall units or anything?
Point.
If it's gonna be a 80 to say a 2000 model,
Yeah.
just put window units. I can get 2 window units, 2 to 3 window units from Home Depot, the AC and the heat for $450 a piece. So I'm all in at $1,500 for AC, and I'm good. That's gonna last probably 5 to 7 years if you change it out the filter.
Have you found rent differences between the two? Using no units versus?
I haven't. If people have said, well, you gotta put central and you'll get more AC, get more rent. I have not seen a difference. I think that's a myth. I think that's what the gurus are telling me.
We just send filters in, right?
We just started doing that because they're not gonna change the filter. Yeah, we're starting to walk the parks. We got so many rehabs going right now. It's been hard to, really get them to do the AC thing. But you need to get the maintenance guy or just send them a letter. Hey, look, we're gonna come and walk the park on this day to make sure you change the air filters. Make sure you change it. And if you send that letter, they probably just they'll hurt and change it, and then have to walk the park to trick them to do it, because otherwise they won't change it.
We do the first of every month as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, but change the filters the first of every month, they just know to expect that.
On Central, you got apartments.
Yeah, in apartments.
Chris, are you guys planning to put HUD or Section 8 tenants in here?
No, I don't want to mess with Section 8. Kyle can tell you too, at other park and in my other parks in Louisiana, my management, like Section 8 tenants, I don't want to mess with. It's always a problem. They don't take,
They
it's
want
government
everything free.
housing.
It's guaranteed rent though.
It's guaranteed rent, but
They'll file complaints against you.
Oh, really?
we're being sued right now with one of our parks right now because they're just, you got to think about it. Somebody that's getting free rent, You know, they destroy the trailer. And then, you know, Section 8 pays, say, you know, $750, and you're supposed to collect that other $150 from them. They don't ever pay you because they just want everything for free. And they just, the long term.
The mindset of them is just different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've had it. I've had the Section 8, half of my park was Section 8. Jan, my manager over there, CFO, she said, like, I don't want to do anything. Like, let's just get regular paint, and it's been easy. So that's been my experience. You may talk to another guy that's got a bunch of Section 8 and he loves it. I'm just telling you what we went through, and even in Louisiana and in Florida with the park. And they turn over quicker, yeah. They bounce around.
So, once you get your LOI accepted, I mean, when you go through your due diligence period, how often are you like renegotiating on these sellers?
I'll put them in a contract for 90 to 120 days.
And you put, when does your earnest money go hard?
You want to know honestly, God, truth?
Yes.
No earnest money.
It doesn't.
Not put earnest money.
Oh,
This is why this is so niche.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Multifamily.
You can't get away with that. I'm buying $1 million to $3 million deals, and I'm not putting any money down. Where can you get away with this in real estate? No way. Have you ever not put any earnest money down on your apartments?
No, I just had a $100,000 earnest money go hard.
Yeah.
A week ago, it sucks.
Yeah.
How are you pitching the owner on that?
I just don't even talk about it. And I signed a contract with no earnest money, and he signs it.
Well, do you think,
Well-
like, since you're known as the authority on this, that maybe they don't have another option to go to? You're the only one calling them.
Mhm.
Very few.
Well, and you do explain. Sometimes if they ask, you do explain the why.
Good point, Big Mama. Okay, so I just say, look, we buy 15, 20 properties a month. So if I had earnest money down on every property, I'd constantly run a cash flow problem, and that's my.
Yeah, and it's true. It's true.
Imagine if I had, I've constantly got 1 or 2 parts in a contract, and I've constantly got, you know, 15, 20 wholesale flips going at any given time. If I had, you know, money, and when you explain that, it gives them an understanding that, okay, that makes sense, right? But I'm building up rapport in the front and say, look, give me just, look, you know, all I really need, give me 2 to 4 weeks, I'll give you a yes or no on this deal. You know, I'm not gonna hold this thing up for that long.
Guys, real quick, what you just said, the deposit thing, like, even for me, that's gold, like,
Yeah.
that's worth the whole weekend. The second thing I wanted to ask was, what is your typical turnaround time for the rehab work per unit? Like, if you're full gut, what is it take?
It depends if your staff's on crystal meth. That's another mass, not, no.
That's
Does that mean they work faster when they're on meth, or?
Yeah.
they want to work nights.
Chris only work good from 9 o'clock at night to 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
I got a day job, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, so typically, I just gutted and rehabbed a whole thing to the studs in Gonzales, and it took about 30 days.
But we also driving back and forth
They're
too.
driving back
Yeah.
and forth from Lackett, and we get maintenance crews in the Baton Rouge area. But if it's a total gut, sheetrock, everything is going to be probably 30 days. With crystal meth addicts, with non-crystal meth addicts, probably you'll save a week. That's just how it is. I'm telling you, you want to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's real life.
This is just not. This is what you're dealing with, folks.
So have you, one of the things we started doing, which helped a lot, have you tested for meth in some of these to get a lower price?
On the
Actual units?
no, this is my workers. They work for me.
No, that's what I'm saying, though, but I have started testing for meth, and then when it comes back positive, I go back to the owner and drop the price hard and say, hey, nobody's gonna buy this.
You don't the air quality then?
Oh, you talking? Yeah.
Before you buy.
I never thought about that, but that's a good idea. I gotta write that down, folks.
Yeah, that's gold right there.
Negotiation. Hey, you got meth all over
I
here.
got so I tested for meth in a $300,000 neighborhood. Bitch tested positive. I dropped
Wow.
$100,000 into it.
How much is it to test?
It's like, I think we paid $1,100, and I got $100,000 in equity because of the deal.
Wow.
So if you're not testing for meth on every trailer park or every deal that you like perceive it probably is gonna happen, you should be.
You perceived it on that $300,000 deal?
We did because the son was a drug addict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we have to test every trailer. But I mean, You just test.
But you're gonna see the signs.
gonna have
If you
to-
see signs of that and you test, like then
Yeah, and
go
that's
back
just,
to the owner.
and that's just another negotiation tactic you guys can add to your arsenal to drive that price down.
When's the last time you tested for meth, sir?
Just ask him straight out.
It's true though. It's a great point.
Talk to the tenants, in your dealings.
You go straight in from the septic
Like,
maintenance to the
like there's some signs, like if people have like, there's signs of meth, like you have
Oil
little
and
booby
windows.
traps and stuff like that where people get,
Yep.
you know, you can tell when it's.
And if you guys are confused on what to make your offer, this is just a good rule of thumb. If you, for instance, on that one, that was a really good deal. I bought it, it had 5,300 of rent at the time, and I give them 50, I'll offer them 50% of what this is, so my offer was 210 the other day. Actually, I hit him lower than that, he came up to 210, I think I hit him at 180. Does that make sense? Just as a rule, because it's hard, sometimes it's hard to evaluate these things, right? I usually do 50% of the rent. So if my
Of
rent,
actual rent?
yeah, if the rent's, say the rent's $10,000 a month, I'm gonna probably try to hit it half maybe, just to start. But if it's really destroyed, I'll go a little bit lower, maybe 35, 40%, right? And then if it's in phenomenal shape, I'll usually give them like 60%. You know, say the one we're looking at right now on the bar. Once it's getting 14,000, it's in great shape. It's my maximum allowable offer in that deal because it's a great area and the trailer's in great shape. I'm going to offer them 850,000. And I really don't even want to offer them that, but it's such a good area, right?
On the current rents or your projected?
No, current rents. He's getting 14,500 a month, and I'm offering him. I'm gonna offer him 850, which I wanted to get 750, but he ain't gonna. He's not gonna take it. He wants $1 million. But just I'm trying to give you some perspective because there is no exact formula on making these offers. Like you just got to understand what you're looking at. But typically half the rents.
Is your expense ratio about the same as multifamily, like 35, 45%?
No, it's a little bit. It's probably 10% less than that because you got to realize if they trashed my trailer, everything's so much cheaper, right? You can go and put you put the floors, you patch a hole, and you put a roof, and then my AC units are $1,500. I mean, an apartment, you got the roof, you got the central air, which is what do you get central air for? 6,500, 6,000
For a new unit?
Yeah, new unit inside out.
$5,000.
$5,000. Wow. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So
That's
that just shows you
what
it's and that lasts you 10 years. But then, dude, every time the problem with Central is that every time you have a problem,
Got coils and
it's
like-
it's $350 here, $650 there. So they eat you alive on repairs on Central Air. This is why I like to have the window units.
So you do window units in all of them, you and the new ones?
The new ones when I'm buying new, it comes with the Central Air.
Yeah.
And we just wear that thing out and then in 10 years we slap in the window units.
You say they come with heat too? Yeah.
Yeah, look them up at Home Depot. I forgot how many BTUs. I think that's my secretary, but it's heat and air. If it's a 3.2, we usually put 3 to 4 in there. If it's a 2.2, we usually put 2 to 3. Right?
Have you looked at any of the like split systems, the Mitsubishi,
Oh yeah.
I have not, but somebody mentioned to me. I want to look into that. It's called it's a split system.
Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned that to me, but I haven't. No, I haven't.
They're half the cost of HVAC. They're probably a little bit more than window units, but they're heat and air. They act like an HVAC. They're really efficient.
No ductwork.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Repair costs on your
Yeah.
roofs. Just go ahead and put metal roofs when you get your 10, $1,500 for a single wide is roughly what it's gonna cost you. If you have your own crew, it's probably gonna be $2,000 if you're getting a roofing company to do it. You're gonna save about $500.
How are you sourcing Freedom model? That's the one you're buying?
That's what I'm buying. Yep. 38.9 installed. Now, right now with COVID, it's not. It went up. They don't even have. It's 42, 43 right now. But he said after the first, it's gonna go back down. All the supply lines have been messed up from COVID. So that, supply and demand, the price went up.
Where are those manufactured?
Clayton, you just
Clayton's got a
Manufacturing in Knoxville.
And just so you know, Warren Buffett bought
Mhm.
Clayton a few years ago for $3.2 billion. If it tells you anywhere about where the money's going, so
And Blackstone just invested $500 million to buy that part of the country.
Wow.
Real quick, touch on what you guys
Yeah.
said, so you're
Yeah.
buying new.
Work on that.
Yeah, so if I'm in a good area,
Yeah.
like Denham Springs that just bought a 30 unit, I'm hauling out 9 as we speak right now.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna take out all of them, I'm taking out 9 trailers that I just don't wanna rehab because they're so old and messed up and they're already vacant. We just put them on Facebook Messenger or Facebook Marketplace, and you have people come pick them up, and I'll take it for free. Or you can sell them for 2 or 5, and they'll haul them off for you, and it's no cost. I'm glad you brought that up. So once they haul them off, we've already ordered, put my deposit down, we ordered 9 brand new ones, they're gonna come install them, drop them off.
Do you ever buy existing ones, like?
Yeah, so through my wholesaling business, the pipeline, we get trailers that leads. Who gets trailer leads? Okay, so if you buy mobile home parks, keep those leads. I mean, dude, I'm buying a 2016 Clayton 16 by 83 she paid $65,000 for it 2 years ago. I'm buying it for 16 grand.
And it's nice. It's still in good condition.
I got a new contract Thursday, 16 grand. It's gonna cost me $2,500 to move it to the park. Another $2,500 to set up for the plumbing, pad, and hook up the poles. So what is that, 16 plus 5, that's 21. I'll get $1,100 for that. So, and I'm all in at 25,000, getting 1,100. That's the cash flow ridiculous. Now, I can't get enough of those fast enough to fill up a park. Because you just don't get enough motivated sellers with trailers. So, but I get at least 1 per month. 1 trailer, typically I get out of absolute steal per month, and I just fill the gap in with brand new trailers.
Chris, you did put like an ad, like we buy used trailers or whatever.
Yeah, you can run Facebook ads, we buy used mobile homes. You can try that.
Signs, bandit signs.
Bandit signs, we buy used mobile homes. You can do just Facebook, go on these mobile home apps.
Put signs by other trailer parks that are lot rent.
Go put bandit signs by other trailer parks that are doing a lot rates too. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
How do you know if the trailer park's doing just lot rent?
How do you know? You just call them, ask them, you call them. They don't have it on the sign, like, whatever.
Well, sometimes they do actually, but sometimes they have it on the sign, but
It's like you can buy a list, right? You can't buy a list and see if it's a lot of rent or not.
They're distinguished.
Do you have to pull a permit from the city to move a trailer, or the mover does that?
Yes, some cities do, some cities don't. If you have to ask, you have to call your local city.
But the movers handle all that.
No.
They won't do it?
Well, I'm not saying they won't, usually girls at the office are doing it. Well, that's a good question. It depends on the city. I don't know.
Every time I move a trailer, the moving company handles it.
Maybe they do, maybe they do.
I just pay them.
Yeah, and maybe they do it. I don't really know. Maybe I should find out. I'm not in it. Here's the thing about this business. I'm really not in, this business right here is really, really passive for me in the sense that I don't mess with it.
Jan's the boss,
Dan
basically.
and 3 years running. I'm at conditions, I get the deal, and I get the loan, I sign, and I don't even know what's going on after that. I couldn't even tell. So you have to forgive me on the real deep in depth. I don't know that I can find out, or I'll text my brother. Okay, anything else we missed on due diligence? Just looking for motivation, looking for a really good deal. Want to buy it for 50% of whatever the rents are if it's a distressed park.
Well, and if it has its own sewer system, you're gonna have to do a lot more due diligence on the upkeep.
Yep.
What about well?
Well, water.
Yeah, instead of city.
Do we have a well? Is it a well with the one in? No, it's city. I don't think I have any wells.
They're pretty popular in Florida, they're well water.
Tennessee too.
Yeah. If it's well, I mean, I think it's good for you. You don't have a water bill.
Yeah.
But the maintenance on all those ponds and stuff are high.
So some parks, the owners, I don't know why, some parks, these owners are paying for the water bill. I don't do any of that. Like, we buy and say, dude, I'm not paying the water anymore. Like, you're gonna pay your own water. Like, I
So
don't.
like the one I have is 1 meter though.
Yeah.
Can you sub meter?
Mm-hmm.
You can, so what's money? So I have a park right now in Lafayette that we have to freaking walk each individual trailer every month, the girls do, and the kilometers, whatever, the electricity, and we're redoing each pole that individually meter it. So that's something you need to find out too. They're like,
Well, one guy we talked to, he pays a certain amount. Anything over, they have to pay if they use that much electricity.
well, it's weird, every park's different.
Yeah.
Some people, the owners pay the water, some, the tenants pay the water, you gotta find all that out. Find out about electrical.
How I did it in my apartment, we put in, we said, hey, if there's so many adults living in each unit, then we're gonna charge this much per adult for water traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do a RUB system, but you gotta pay to have this installed, just install a meter on the flow to each trailer. Or
Okay.
each unit. And
That's
they'll
good.
say, hey, this is how much water you actually use, and that costs by $5 to $7 grand to get installed for the entire complex, depending on the size of it.
For the entire complex?
Yeah, they're literally just putting sensors on the pipes, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're saying, all right, you use this much, and it automatically goes back.
How much you charge per adult?
Say again?
Like if there's an extra adult, how much you charge for the adult?
Okay, that's how we broke it down.
So we were wanting to do that at ours, but then I forget the reason that they wouldn't allow us to do it.
So the rub system, it's gotta be over, I think, 25 or 50 units. They have a threshold before they'll even come up to it.
Meters. Excuse me.
Okay.
I guess there, yeah, the roads are different types of ways. I think it's because they only
What's what I'm
have
paying for on interest rates right now?
one, two main lines that go up in buildings. So they didn't have a main
On
line.
finance? Okay.
5%, 3, 4, 36.
I want to park, right now I want to finance at 7% interest only. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it, which we'll get into. Remind me to get into, I'm gonna go regular debt, then we'll do on the finance debt next. Okay, so get all I don't think I'm missing anything. I may miss one or two things here. You just make sure you figure out what all, it's the same thing with apartments, single family. What's your expenses? You know, make sure you got all the unknowables, right? Does the tenant pay the water? You know, who's paying the electricity bill? You doing lease audits? What's that? Are you doing lease audits of the current tenants? Yeah, we're finding out. Yeah, we want to run like, hey, what have you collected the past, 6 months? Yeah. Because a lot of them gonna lie, and like I need bank statements showing what you collected.
You need some really good insurance too if you're around hurricanes.
Yes. And flood zones.
Yes.
I don't typically like to buy in flood. I do own 2 parks in flood zones because I got them for so cheap. But if it's in a flood zone, beat them down on the price because flood insurance
It's high. And you have to lift all the AC units, everything like that.
Yeah, to do it, you gotta do an elevation certificate, and they're gonna measure it at the bottom of the central, not the bottom of the things. That's why we get rid of the central, and we put the window units so that our elevation is a lot higher, and we don't have to pay as much flood insurance.
Cause that skirt is what, like 12 inches or 24 from the
Yeah, it's
ground?
like 2 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
They'll do it from the bottom of where the wood starts to frame. But if not, if you central is on the ground, they're gonna mess with that.
Yep.
That's your elevation. And it's $1,000 a unit. Like, oh no, we're gonna, so we're gonna lift the AC even with the bottom of the trailer, and that'll get you out of that flood zone. And that,
Slap it in the kitchen.
yeah. That's what I like about it. There's so much things you can do with these boats. They're so modular.
You just lift them with cement blocks.
Apartments is a
It's
big,
easy.
bulky brick on slab is fixed. I can do all kind of stuff with these trailers to make it work. All right, so we're ready for debt? Okay.
One more question. When you demobilize a trailer, what constitutes a permanent foundation? Just it being on blocks and like having your tie downs, or do you gotta have like a base of gravel?
So what they're doing is they're taking off the wheels and they're cutting the tongue.
That's it.
Or, yeah, disconnecting the tongue, sliding underneath, unbolt your wheels, and it's immobilized, and it's bolted down to the ground. And they call it, did anybody understand what demobilization? Yeah, basically, because a trailer is like a title.
Or movable.
It's yeah, so you basically have to, when you go to get debt.
And
Yeah, you go to the DMV, it's not like buying real estate. So what happens when you're trying to get debt with these community banks is you're going to have to, they're gonna wanna demobilize it, right? Or immobilize, whatever the word is.
We call it making it.
They want the VIN number and they wanna make it a part of the real estate.
Part of the
In
land.
Texas, we call it making it real property.
Yeah.
What do they call it in Florida?
It's personal.
Same thing, it's real property.
Personal
so
property to real property for us.
If it becomes real property in Florida, they'll put a real property sticker on the very front, like right by the tongue.
Oh,
So that's something, like whenever I'm
Yeah.
selling them, I have to train my guys, hey.
there's a sticker there.
Sticker,
A HUD label or.
it's got literally a fucking state of Florida, hey, real property, it says real property. That means it's attached to the land and it's no longer a vehicle.
They don't do that in Louisiana,
It's called immobilization.
Yeah, we don't have stickers or anything like that.
There's a sticker.
Real property. Yeah, it's real property. Okay, so I don't know why we got parishes and shit, we still like all these state and the whole, everything's different. Bad gas, raw fish. All right, here we go. Debt. So if you're doing what I'm doing, and you're doing owning the trailers, you're wasting your time going to JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, forget that. Don't even try to mess with it. I'm dealing with all community banks. What is a community bank? It's a small local bank. They're not nationwide, they're usually just in a city. Or credit unions. first deal you do is gonna be tough if you don't have any real estate experience. It's gonna be easier for you to get a loan if you have real estate experience. If you're already in the game real estate, they're gonna look at you, okay,
What's
here's-
that conversation look like, Chris?
So that conversation goes, hey, Mr. Banker, I've got this, and it's better to go to a bank that you've already maybe used it to buy a single family home where there's already an established relationship. Otherwise, it's a long process of getting set up because they want your financials. They take it to the committee, they all talk about you now. They're gonna pull you up on social media. You gotta realize they're gonna pull you up and look at you, see what you do on social media. If you posting you at the titty bar and, you know, hitting the big line and probably not gonna get fined.
They're seeing
This
it.
is like the, you know, or are you doing something unethical? They literally do that. Like,
It's a lot more personal
it's a
relationship.
personal relationship. They want to know who you are as an individual, not your. They don't bank. This is my bank. All my bankers tell me is, Chris, we don't lend to your business. We lend to Chris Rood.
Yeah.
We want to know what kind of person are you, right? And even somebody on the committee, one of the banks, I'm not going to say because my banker watches this, but one banker said, he said he's the #1 wholesale coach in the country. He's full of shit.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You have to tell me that later.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
but because it told me that they went and watched my lives, right? So if you do, so be careful. Like that's how deep they're gonna go with the relationship. So look, so try to look professional and look like you've got some sense, right? Now, go ahead. But
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for talking to them, something I found locally around here is you can negotiate with them and say, hey, look, I'll move my operating accounts to you, right? Because they want to use it, they want that cash on hand.
That's right.
Yeah, say, hey, look, for this asset, I'll have all the money flow to you guys, we'll hold it here, we'll keep our reserve in here, blah, 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 and they're like, yeah, and they'll often use that as a negotiation in the loan. They say, hey, you have to move your operating account here, so.
yes, that's a great point. Tell them that they're gonna ask for it anyway. But say, hey, look, I'll even use you for some other stuff, right?
Right, park some cash over there so you guys
Yes.
can lend it out, that's why.
Yeah, so what I do is like I'll take one part that I already banked with it and after I told them I'd use them and I'll just start a separate account with them and you start moving stuff. You just flow in through the bank system. They just want your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, just flow your money through them and that looks good. They're gonna make sure you got a good credit score. If you guys don't have good credit, then you just need to get a sponsor. I can help you sponsor your loan if you find a deal and you don't have good credit.
We want tax returns.
Tax returns. Strong, yeah, well.
Look,
You don't have to make $1 million a year. You can probably show you make $100,000 a year, right? If it's not that big of a park. There's a formula. I don't know that formula. Debt to income, all the stuff that bankers do.
Yeah.
But if you buy your first park's a $500,000 deal, you could probably, show you make 75, 80 grand a year. You could probably, as long as you got the 20%, that's what they're looking for. The 20%. You could probably show you only make 50 grand a year because there's no risk.
And how much equity you got
it.
in it,
The
yeah.
higher the net worth you
Right.
get, and the more stabilized you get to start doing these deals with no money down. Like right? I'm just not, because they trust me. They ain't worried about it. You got enough equity. Or they'll cross-collateralize.
Yeah.
You guys know what that means? They'll take equity out of the other part and move it to there, where some of these deals I'm putting zero money down, no money into it. But your first deal, just be prepared, 20% down, maybe even ask 30. They may ask 30. The more risk you are, the more they're gonna ask fall down, and the higher they're gonna go on your interest rate. But get that first deal done, season it, rehab it, stabilize it, show them, and then you're golden after that. And now you can start scaling like I have, right? It was tough. I mean,
So
the first
one deal.
One deal.
And then
you got a track record. They're looking for a track record, right? It's a risk to go and just, hey, look, it's mobile home park. Because it's not a lot. They want collateral. That's what banks look at. The trailers are not worth a whole lot, right? But they do like. And like, here's another thing. You may have to talk to 4 to 5 community banks before you get that yes. When I first started, I talked to 3. The first 3 said no, and then the next said, "Oh, we love those." It's really just
Yeah.
I just found another bank said they love them, and they finance them like within 25 days. Like, do we love mobile home parks? So every community bank is different in a sense of what their taste for debt is and what they like.
Anything you're doing to vet the community banks, whether or not they're even have an appetite for this type of asset first, you just call them.
I call them, just say, hey, are you interested in mobile home parks?
Interested in financing.
Yeah. Anyway, let me get back with you. I'll ask my VP.
Yeah.
And I said, well, maybe, and then they bring it to me.
But there's no list of just like known banks that finance them. You just gotta call.
You gotta call, yeah. Because there's not a whole lot of people. Most of the mobile home parks in America are paid off cash right now. They're so old. There's not a whole lot of debt on parks right now.
Yeah.
Really?
No, they're all the baby boomers got it. Does anybody Google how many parks are in America right now? If somebody could do that, it'd be great. I think it's 60,000, 30,000, the
They
majority
don't pay
of
out cash.
those, where the baby boomers have.
They've,
They're having them for
yeah.
50 years.
30, 50 years, they're all paid off, so there's not a whole lot of track record on debt, like there is apartments where everybody's got apartments financed. Does that make sense?
Have you found any banks that'll work off of the loan to value versus loan to cost?
Yes, but they're all different, but your financials are gonna have to be a little bit stronger.
Right.
I'm able to do that, loan to value, because my statements are stronger, I have a net worth, I'm making money. But if you're just getting started, you're a W-2 employee in here, you're not a professional real estate investor, they want 20% down.
LTC, yeah.
153,000 mobile home parks in America.
I was off by double.
What if you're not,
153,000 mobile home parks in America, folks.
what if you're not a W-2 employee and you're producing $200-300 grand a month, gross income?
Are you showing that though?
Entrepreneur.
Like showing that on
You
your
can say
taxes.
that, you could not on taxes.
Yeah.
Are you showing that on your taxes?
I am this year.
Are you hiding cash?
I am this year. I'm
Okay,
gonna
well,
next
you
year.
stop doing
Yeah.
that, man, it's gonna hurt you. Well, I say stop doing, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your business, I'm just not.
Yeah, I know.
You're not gonna be able to get a loan if you're making $1 million a year, but you're showing you made 35,000.
Yeah, they want it on pay, they want
You gotta have
proof.
the-
There's no stated loans anymore.
So, if it's
Stated
your case,
income.
then you need to get a sponsor. You need to get somebody to sign on the debt. I can do that for you. So, and by the way, every one of you guys, I wanna partner up with you guys, so this is why you paid me to show you, I wanna help you. I wanna scale. All right, so for instance, if I wanna scale with, say, Nick, he's got a deal in,
Texas, yeah.
yeah, whatever, Houston, Dallas, wherever, Arkansas. He calls, hey Chris, can you help me with this first deal? It's gonna probably take me a little while to get through. I'm gonna have to go drive up there, shake their hands, give them my financials, hey, look at my portfolio. I'll bring it to the committee, say, yeah, this looks good. We'll probably want 20-30% down, no Chris, look, no problem, I can do it. But it's gonna take probably 45 days to maybe even 60 before they say, okay, let's roll. And then from there, we start the loan process, another 30 days to get the loan. So that first initial loan, getting a mobile home park is gonna maybe 90 days when you have no relationship, when you're going out of state.
So make sure you get a lot of time on the contract.
Yeah.
Yes, one person. Yeah.
At least 90 days.
Yeah, at least 90 days. And then it's
And-
not
and-
absolute. It may be quick. They may be able to call you and say, hey, just send me your financials. And I've seen it both ways. I've emailed all the financials and literally 3 days later say, hey, yeah, we'll do this deal.
But most business loans, they're used to having long due diligence. I mean, that's just part of it.
Yeah. You buy an apartment,
Yeah.
45.
That makes sense.
45 due diligence, 45 days.
Definitely makes sense.
But and look, go meet your banker. They're looking for somebody they can trust and just go shake their hand, go take them to lunch, and your banker is going to be your biggest cheerleader. So you better build a good relationship because he's going for you as a representative on your behalf to convince the committee board that you need to do this deal with Chris Rood, or you need to do this deal with Nick, you need to do this deal, right? So you better don't piss off the guy. He's your quarterback.
What qualifies mobile home park? Five, quantity?
I don't know.
I mean, I know you're not looking at it for like till 24 units or whatever, but is there a certain classification like the banks will look at it and be like, no, we're not loaning on that, this is not enough?
No, they'll loan them.
Two single unit, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they loaning on the park and the individual trailers? What if like half of the trailers have individual notes on them? Are they taking over those notes, or are they loaning on the park? Are they getting those notes out of the way? Like I'm assuming.
You talking about it if the owner has debt on it already?
Yeah, let's just say
Well,
some
yeah,
of
they
the
get paid off at the closing.
I think you're talking about if the trailers are financed.
Yeah.
Like, let's say.
With an outside, say legacy or legacy. Yeah, they pay. Yeah.
So they get them out of the way, and they.
Yes.
But you have to go through every individual.
Yeah, and that's not, and you don't have to worry about that because your title company or attorney will do all that for you. That's not your,
It's like buying a house with a
Yeah,
mortgage on it.
they're gonna pull each and every
So
one.
they treat those as individual units.
Yes, they pull each individual one and then they pay off any liens and then they demobilize them or make it real.
Good question.
Yeah,
You're allowed to freeze it all in-house, right? On a web jumbo loan.
yeah. All right, so does this make sense about,
Once you do that, once you demobilize them, I guess what happens is you need to mobilize it.
is it ain't that?
I don't think.
Why would you?
Well, I don't wanna do that.
My
Now,
issue
here's
is
the
just
thing,
rents.
your
You
property
need to-
taxes on these will go up now because you demobilized them or made it real.
And they're real property.
They're real property. So Property taxes will increase, so you wanna find that out in your due diligence. Property taxes after demobilization. How much more? It shouldn't be much more. It really shouldn't be a whole lot, but you have to be careful. All right, can we move on? Do we have a clear understanding of getting debt from the smaller community banks? Now, you're only gonna get, right now I'm getting 5%. Getting right now. It may be a little bit more for if you're brand new, you may want to do 6. Or if you're not putting any, if I don't put any money equity down, they cross collateralized, they may do 5.5 or 6, because I don't really have any money, which I'm okay with, no money down. I'll take an extra percent. Alright, so we bought it, right? We're rehabbing it. Rehab. Alright. This is the tricky part. Everybody knows that it's in real estate, right? So what we do, we do it all in-house, the rehab. All my guys are making $15 to $16, $17 an hour. And that's the way you're gonna keep your costs down, keep them all in-house, but you got, it's babysit job, right? Pay your lead guy maybe $18, $20, and that's relative to your market. In California, $18 an hour is nothing, right? It may be $30 or $25 an hour. I don't know, whatever the market for a rehabber is. Or you can do contractors, but it's gonna cost you probably double or triple to get the trailer fixed or rehabbed. They're gonna do it in a shorter period of time, but you're gonna give up some equity. So you gotta figure out what you wanna do. For me, the way I've been able to keep my costs down and keep all that equity in the park is I'm willing to trade out a headache. Well, I'm not doing it, my girls are doing it. They're dealing with all the headaches to manage all these guys, right? So, but we're keeping our costs down and we're into the trailer, $3 to $5 grand if it needs to be rehabbed, right? So the way you can find these is Facebook Marketplace. Anybody use Facebook Marketplace?
No.
Yeah.
We're getting tenants on Facebook Market.
Yeah, that's where I get all my tenants too. That's what I'm about to say too. Yep.
They're huge.
Craigslist.
I think especially the people who want to rent the trailers, they're all have their.
Word of mouth.
That's a huge thing for them. That little part right there.
Genius for tenants.
So just put in that, hey, looking for handyman. Get 3 or 4 of those, and typically you'll have 1, maybe 2 already in the park, because they already have a maintenance guy. Find out who your maintenance guy is. That's part of the diligence. I should add.
Yeah. Because usually they'll live for free in one of the trailers, and their job is.
That's really the expense. We got every one of our parks. We have one guy that either pays no rent or just a little bit of rent. Sometimes you have to call a plumber and you charge you $350. It's fixed for.
But they're more like a 24/7 type of
That I'm trading out and rent
hour.
$700 a month. But every time a little leak happens, he goes fix it. If I call the plumber, that's $350. Something gets clogged, right? He goes and plunges it, or it gets the snake in there. That'll cost me another $350. He does it for free rent. It's worth doing that. You don't really do that is apartments complexes that where you give them free rent?
We let cops rent for free to keep a police presence, and then
That's great.
we have that gets.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that. Cameras. Dude, even if you can't afford them, just put fake cameras and it'll stop all the bullshit. It's amazing. all everything stops. And then put the signs, you're under watch, right?
Yeah.
But get you some, they're not just cameras, like $500 these days for, like I said, 5 or 6. Just it's worth every penny to have cameras. We got them in just about every park.
And you have real cameras.
Yeah, we have real cameras. Let's see. So get your workers, get them in there. Use basic stuff. Like all you need is freaking to get these. It's called laminate planks, vinyl planks. $1.50. We go in there. We do it from the scratch. Now, if your subfloor is messed up, they got to cut out a piece of the subfloor and put the regular. Some. Make sure you get the 3/4. I think it's 3/4 inch treated floor. And I may be pushing that on. I'm not in the maintenance game, but make sure you get the treated wood when you change out the subfloor, because it's lifetime and 3/4 inch. Because a lot of these older 80s and 90s trailers, they had the what's it called? Particle board. And that's what we're having to change out.
It gets wet, it's game over.
Yeah, it swells. And you just cut out, get the redo it, and that's where the trailers will get up into the 7, 8, 9, and 10,000 if you happen to do that. Right.
You put a moisture barrier under there?
Yeah.
Like that plastic?
Yeah, that insulation.
Yes.
What's it called?
A moisture barrier.
A moisture barrier insulation.
On the bottom of it, just a thick plastic.
So we do that. So we go floors. We go get a set of cabinets from Lowe's. The set of cabinets through like Lowe's are like $300 to $500. Like just one little set, little small. Like you don't need a big. It doesn't have to be super like big. And then we do the Formica.
Yeah.
We do so we're doing gray and white floors and gray and white Formica, and then we paint the whole inside wire gray, and it's nice. I mean, do it, and that's it. And we go to vanity. We would put a vanity for $250 from Home Depot. Drop it in there. I mean, we don't do granite. We don't do tile, backsplash. You ain't gotta do all those touching pieces that you would do in an apartment or a single family home. And people still give us the good rent. You still get $800, $900, $1,000, and you into the deal $5,000, right? So, any other questions on the rehab? As far as I could be missing something.
You do like to paint the exterior of them, even when they're older.
It's a 10 model trailer, like 80s and 90s. We'll paint the outside.
It makes a big difference, yeah.
Paint the outside, right?
Pretty enough.
Yeah.
Do you ever recite it? Like do a look, take off the aluminum and put on vinyl?
No, I haven't done that. No. Now the roads are a big issue.
Mhm.
We kind of had to go through a road up. If you don't have a paved road, you constantly put rocks every quarter or 6 months. Paved roads are expensive. Little knick-knack stuff and any shenanigans you see in the park, you report it to the park manager at the office, and they write them up. And that way it keeps everybody honest, right? And make sure you have the cameras. You have those 3 things that keeps the park somewhat manageable.
You don't have any trouble with the insurance companies getting good insurance quotes or anything?
No. Just go to your local people, wherever y'all use them, just say, look, I need to put insurance. Typically, to shop insurance, I mean, when you first deal, you're not gonna get it right. There's not gonna be a huge difference. Once you get a bigger portfolio, then you go shop the insurances, and then they'll start fighting over you because it's a bigger bang for them.
What about sheds and fences, stuff like that, exterior stuff?
We do have sheds in some of ours.
The nicer ones do.
Yeah, we have a nice metal building. Yeah, just get a little, and if you don't have one, get a little shed, put a padlock on it just for the maintenance guy, and we usually go to Home Depot and just get like the basic stuff. You spend $300 to $500 and get make sure, plumbing. Make sure you go back with the, is it
PEX.
PEX. It's cheap. That's why I love mobile home parks too. If something breaks in plumbing, I got a park. I have an apartment with, anybody know Tim Brad's? I have an apartment complex in Tim Brad's in Lafayette. I mean, we had to bust up.
That was a nightmare.
All that stuff. So when you have a park, you gotta break the concrete. When you got an apartment, when you got these mobile homes, you just pull the skirting, you slide right in, change it, you into it for $100, you done.
Pull the skirt up and slide right in.
Slides right PG-13.
That's right up my alley.
Right. No, no, it's exactly, and it's that simple. But I mean, concrete, I don't know, I think I have to go back, I think that costs almost, I don't remember, I think it was multiple.
I thought it was like 150K or something like that.
$200,000.
And then just to snake the lines were a nightmare.
Was that in a block apartment, or was it?
It was 105 units.
Block or brick that you had cut through?
Oh, brick. It was brick.
Yeah, I hadn't been over there since the manager.
So it's all brick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another added bonus of, the mobile homes. There's just everything about it so cheap. Did we change the roof? That was what, $4,000 or $5,000?
That was 200,000.
We changed the roof in that apartment too. It's how much?
200.
$200,000. Dude, I mean, it's everything about it's cheaper. We still get, and now guess what? The average rent in that apartment complex is the same as what I got in my. It's $750 to $850, $900. Yeah.
Plus, we had to do
Is this giving you perspective? Is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything.
Because the apartments, we have to maintain a pool, the safety of the pool.
330,000.
Yeah.
It's just.
Everything about it is so cheap.
Yeah.
Now here's the benefits and
And the
cons.
cash flow's better.
The cash flow's
I'm
better.
getting $700 a month for apartments, and my expenses are probably.
Super.
Mm-hmm.
They're double on
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
But here's your benefit. You're gonna get more forced appreciation. You know, the brick on slab. I won't get that appreciation like you will. But I don't. If you're investing for appreciation, you're done. You invest for cash flow. Appreciation is a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it at dinner, but you tell everybody, like, you do get the depreciation on these things too. You can still do cost
Yes.
studies and.
Yes, you just same the 27 and a half years once you demobilize it.
Once you get a business.
You know, bonus depreciation, you
Yep.
can accelerate and take 100%.
So, and like with the apartments, there's ways for like additional income, like rents and things like that, is there any way to get additional income?
That's a great question, but most mobile homes, unless they're super high end, like the senior living, they don't do none of that. That's why expenses are.
You got stackables in these things, or you
Yeah.
have to go exterior for laundry?
They put stackables in. We don't.
No washer dry hookups?
Yeah, they have washer dry hookups in all the trailers.
Bring washer dry hookups?
Yes, they all come with.
That's another benefit.
I didn't know that. That's another-
Apartments, well, yeah.
All the trailers, it's a miniature house.
Yeah.
Plus, and it's not even that miniature. I mean, the 3-2.
No, it's very livable.
76 is what is that? 1,200 square feet, 1,100 square feet.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big house.
I mean, our new ones are legit, super nice.
Yes and no. When we're buying these parks, if they're already implementing that, we just slowly phase it out. If they're there and there's in their lease that they are already doing that, then yes. But then as soon as they move out and get a new tenant, we sign a new lease that we don't mess with your fridge or any of that stuff.
No appliances?
No, we don't mess with any of that if it's not early in the lease when we're buying it. But once they move out, no.
And they're used to just buying their.
Oven, yeah, stove, no, we buy a stove, I'm sorry, I'm talking about fridge.
Yeah, a
and
fridge.
Your
Washer dryer.
Yeah, that's on it, don't get into that, because then that's a whole nother, because those things go out all the time.
Yeah.
Little
You make
elements in
incentives,
them.
bring their own fridge?
Oh, yeah.
No, we do the fridge on the nicer parts, but the super low end, like a C minus or, Kyle, on our park in, I think the one we have, I think we're providing fridges on that. Because it really depends, if you're only gonna charge, if it's a $600 to $700 a month rent park, you probably need to get the fridges for them, because they can't afford it.
But the
But if
fridges
it's-
are always leaking there, we've got problems.
But you can get these fridges.
We
for-
get them used or dented or whatever.
It's called Sunny's, where we get in the movie, the Sunny's, it's like a used appliance store. A brand new fridge is like $400 or $500, and you can get these for $150, $200 used.
Yeah.
Just get everything used.
Full-size fridge.
Full size
Mhm.
fridge, $150.
I'll put this out there to you guys just come back here in a year, you know, you will supply them, I will almost guarantee you that you will not get any less rent when you have them supply the fridge and the stove. It's one less maintenance for you, it's one less, I used to talk this all the time with my father, he used to have those, I'm like, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't, and I started doing them, like, you don't see one penny difference in rent, not one. everybody just goes, okay. we'll
And
do
is
it.
that something you put in the lease? Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, it has to be in the
And the
lease.
ones that I do have, I tell them they're responsible to fix, replace, maintain, and if something goes wrong with it, I don't expect them to buy a new one, just buy another used one and put in place that any leaks. So now they become responsible to repair it, replace it, maintain it.
Are the leases anything, are you using a standard just rental lease agreement? Is there a specific lease agreement for a mobile home rental versus an apartment, or is it pretty, the language different?
Jan does all of that, yeah.
It really is, like, I'm a super, like, active guy on the wholesaling and flipping side, but on the mobile home.
But it's I think it's pretty standard.
Yeah, you can maybe text Jan and actually.
You can, insert the appliance issues and all that,
We do all
but
that, guys, too, if you want, we'll email you, I say, ask the man, I just don't know.
I didn't put special language in there.
She adds and takes out special.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, we tweak the contract. Every time we have a problem, just tweak the contract. Tweak it to your dial in to where you protect it, you got all your armor. To where they come in there and it's like they can't, we've been through every problem, there's nothing you can penetrate to try to mess us up.
Make sure you put no water beds.
Yes. So, alright, so now we've got it rehabbed, this will make sense, get you some, so you're gonna have to, this is a job, right? There's nothing easy, like, this is where you're getting all your forced appreciation and you're gonna be in this deal 60 cents on the dollar because you're using, these lower end maintenance guys, but you're gonna do it with the headache, or you just go with a contractor and have them do it really fast and get everything done in 2 or 3 months, but you're gonna probably pay double. Whatever you wanna do, it's not my job to tell you that, it's whatever you wanna do. Yeah, it's whatever. If you don't have a team like I do, you're probably gonna have to do that. Just make sure you factor that in when you're making your offer and you're doing your due diligence. Okay, and then we got, what is this, management? All right, so with management, for me, for scalability and for profit wise, I like to do it in-house. I just hire my own girls. But that's locally. They're in South Central Louisiana, and we got all our parks within an hour to 2 hour drive, all within that area. And that's been manageable for us. But, the park we have in Florida, we have property management. Because Kyle, my partner, he lives, an hour south of Bonifay. So we have property management. We went through 2 or 3 property managers. Yes. Okay. But the one we have now is freaking phenomenal.
She's worth every penny.
Every penny. So, no, she's not on site. She worked with broker she works for. Local brokerage out of Bonifay or that area. So it's just like finding a motivated seller, finding a good employee.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna get a bad one. Just as soon as they start messing up, just get rid of them. So you find the right one, right? That's if you're going outside of your area, right? If you're going to different states like I have, you're gonna, unless I can buy 3 or 4 more parks in there to get enough income to get local people in an office, then it doesn't make sense to have, you need property management unless you can do that.
And do you guys ever run into any HOA fees, or do you charge them any HOA, anything like that?
No, that's why it's affordable housing.
There's no community pools in those things.
Which is
some of them do have pools. Oh my God.
That's the game.
It goes from pool to cooler for the night, man.
Yep.
How big a pond?
You seen Joe Dirt from Louisiana? You're alive in Louisiana.
Nothing wrong with
I
it.
know that guy.
There's nothing wrong with
There's money from high school.
I mean, some high-end ones do have pools.
Yeah. You get over 100 units.
Yeah, they have pools.
I mean, you see me post some of the parks, and they're nice parks. They're nice.
The nicest one we saw, and this is a good add-on if you have extra land, he didn't like storage units, and he charged monthly for storage, like if they had, yeah, I think he was $50 a month.
Get your own management or in-house.
Asking about those too, is the sheds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Sheds for the individual.
you could get some and then have it as an add-on, an extra $50 or $100 or whatever.
That's locally. If you're doing everything in the 2 hour radius, you can do it in-house. You go on in different states, but you guys are in a lot of different states, you make it a part in fucking, Missouri, you're gonna have to get property management. Unless you get a boots on the ground. Let's talk about partnerships now. That's what we hadn't talked about. Okay? All this makes sense?
Yeah.
So, do you have any question before I go on, like how to structure, like if you can't do it on your own, like I have, and I've got, Kyle's my partner on one park, and I got a Canadian partner now on the other park, and the rest of them I own 100%.
What's your payment structure on management?
Kyle, what are we paying on management?
15, 10?
10%, it's not bad, I mean, and we getting 15, 16 grand a month on that?
18
$18,000
now.
a month we're collecting on that park, that 30 unit, we get $1,800. And it's truly passive. Kyle, do you get, how many times, I don't deal with it in college, how many times a month do you get a call? Twice a month. It's not bad, I mean,
What does your management team handle if you have an outstate like that? What do they all handle for you? What's the scope? I mean,
everything.
Yeah,
Everything. When they only call Kyle when we gotta spend money. Like big,
yeah.
big money. Like I'm not talking about like a, high plus. I'm talking about we put in a road and to fix a road was 16,000.
Yeah.
We did engineering work. That was another 15,000 because we have a 30 unit with 22 acres in the back, and we're gonna expand that thing. We're full. We get Kyle, how many calls a day we get to a day?
Oh, yeah.
We get 5 a day to get in that park. It's been full since we bought it.
Wow.
2 years.
Wait list, yeah,
We got-
before that.
And we got 22 acres in the back, so we're doing engineering work, and we're gonna just stack all that, hopefully make it like 150, 200 units.
And that's a whole nother thing in due diligence. If it has extra land, make sure that you can add on to the park. Make sure
Ask
that's,
if you can add on to the park, yeah. The city, ask the city, can I add more?
yes.
Yeah.
She makes the deposits, the management, or
She does all that.
she does everything?
It's a totally,
All the way.
full service.
And no cash.
And third-party managers, like you have you set the precedence for like if it's over $1,000, you want to give approval for.
Mhm.
So like
Yes.
anything under, a couple $100, like just give them
Yep.
carte blanche to make that decision, so you're not getting phone calls.
And then I know I said, passive income isn't passive. It's not passive in a sense, this is a business.
Yeah.
This is a whole business. But it's passive for me as an owner when you have all the right systems. This is the flow system. It's not rocket science. It's like anything else, right? But this is a get rich slow game, right? It's not a get rich quick. You're not gonna get rich. This is like do this, buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 every year, and do this shit for 5, 10 years, and you're fucking set for life. And then 10, 15 years from now, they're all paid off. I mean, shit. I mean, you're gonna. It's that's the game. It's slow, but it cash flows better than anything else. That's the game. Okay. Management. We got that. What was the thing?
Partnerships.
Partnerships. Do y'all want to take a picture of this? Has everybody got this? Can I erase this? Any other questions? Is this good? Is this what? I don't know how you guys came here for this. I hope this. I don't want to leave any questions.
Do you have any that are not on city sewers? Did you buy some that was on septic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have city sewer.
Have you seen any issues so far?
Maintenance, just annual maintenance.
Yeah, I think they come.
Once a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the office handles. I think it's when you buy the parts, that's something.
Chris, isn't the one in Doosan on like a pond and we had to do some stuff?
Yeah, you got some of them have the ponds.
Yeah.
You got it, and usually you ask the current owner.
Yeah.
About what's the maintenance on them?
When was the last time you did that and get all of that in due diligence because it's expensive.
You get copies of those.
And I'll be
quotes.
kind
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurry and slide through the partnership because we got other people. It's simple, right? You got the finder, the capital, the money, management, or boots on the ground, right? I've been doing all three for the most part. Because it's locally, I can handle it because I have the infrastructure. I've been doing all of this. But you guys just getting started, if you go and you're gonna, typically, if you're gonna do all 3 of these things, you own 100%, but it's gonna be a headache. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend it if you don't have the infrastructure. Most of you guys are just gonna be the finder when you first get started, like acquisitions. 30%. Typically 30, maybe even 20. And you got a sponsor. Typically, you're gonna do, the capital is gonna typically want 30% to 30 to 40. Boots on the ground is going to be typically 10 to 20. Sponsor is going to typically want probably 40 because he's signing on the debt. Yeah, for what, just so me and Kyle's deal is, we do 60-40. On my team's finding a deal, you know, we're spending money on acquisitions, I'm signing off on the loan, and then we split, we're splitting the down payment, I own 60, he owns 40.
And he's boots on the ground.
And he's boots on the ground. But not really in a sense, because
We have management.
Yeah.
So is Kyle like your liaison for the property management, so you have to deal with that, it goes to the.
Yeah, he's like the CFO, right? You know, and he just handles whatever and he'll only call me if like we spending a lot on our property, right? But typically, I don't want to do four-way splits. To be honest with you guys, I don't want it. That's all. Like,
That's a lot of people to please.
yeah, unless it's a huge park.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, the parks I'm buying, the sweet deals are the 30, I would say the 70 units. Why? We talked about that yesterday. Why is that the sweet deals? The ones we
Big money.
Institutional's not there and, like just retail investors aren't there.
They ain't got loans for it. They ain't got the $2,000 or whatever, $400,000 to put down. This is where I play. This is where I can capture $500,000, $800,000 in equity in the front end and buy something for 35 to 50 cents on the dollar. This is where I play. This is where I'm at currently. I'm not saying I'm gonna be like that forever. I may get to where, you know, Will's gonna be speaking here soon about private money. I mean, not private funds. You know, I get a fund and I'm using other people's money. You know, this may jump to, 100 to 200.
But it's a good place to start and not be overwhelmed.
Because if you go buy an 8 unit like I did, say just not enough. Don't mess with that. Do 24 units or more, right? This is the great starting point, right? And then eventually evolve into doing bigger things like what Cardone Capital's done. Right now he's buying with other people's money and buying a lot more units, right?
When your buddy segment the list like that, you say, I just want 30 to 70 units.
No, I don't think so. He's just putting all the parks. But typically, go ahead.
I was gonna say that if you find the deal, the finder part is the most important. The rest will come, like the capital sponsor, like all that will work itself out. If you find a good deal, like the money
Anybody will
flows,
throw you,
it's gonna
yes.
close the deal.
Yes. So I mean, if I were you guys, I would just if you have, you could take a deal down by yourself. You could take a deal down by yourself. Because you're all four of you are already full-time real estate investors. If somebody like, you guys right here, y'all guys would probably take a deal down by yourself, but y'all just getting started, you're just getting started, call me and I can help you. It'd probably be like a 60-40 split in Atlanta, right? I come in there and go. Now, if you can, a 60-40 split, if you put half the down payment down, like if the down payment's 20%, it's $1 million loan, I'm putting 20% down, I'll put down 100, you put down 100, you get 40% of the deal, I'll sign the note, I get 60. Does that make sense? Yeah. Same thing with you.
But if he puts down all the capital, you're gonna get probably 20.
Yeah.
Which is still
good. I mean, you make your own money, right? And you
figure out to learn how these things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the value. I'm bringing you
learning.
all like you get a mentorship.
Yeah. Be willing to take a small chunk.
Well, you get validated when you become the finder on the LLC, like whenever you take your 20 or 30%, you don't put anything down, will bank still qualify and see you to go like do your own deal? Like as your one deal, like you say, you do one deal and you're good to go. But if you're not doing any of the money, any of the capital or anything like that, do you still get qualified? Like if you wanted to take another, like your second deal?
It may, go ahead.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know. They know how much you own of the deal.
Right.
They don't know what you put into it. They don't know what the other guys put into it. They know what your equity stake in the deal.
Comes down to confidence. So yeah,
Right.
You can talk through it and you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good.
So I think we're kind of wrapping this up. Look, I want to partner with every one of you guys in here. Like this is why, you gave me some money from where it's great, but like the real wealth and gracious is when you're gonna deal. If you want to partner, if you don't want to partner, great. I gave you all the tools, right? So if you want to, and speaking, go ahead.
Did you hit on the owner finance?
Yes. Thank you. Owner fine, that's huge, man. I wasn't letting miss that shit. Thank you.
I wasn't gonna let you miss it.
So there's a huge opportunity in these parks. Some of these parks are so distressed they're not bankable. They're not bankable, which gives you the opportunity to go in there with freaking really good terms, right? And make your terms. So we got the 30 units we own in Bonifay was owner finance. We put, how much did we put down there? I'm so glad, that's so huge, so you just structure a deal, you know, we did 7% interest only, we put 100 grand down. Interest only until we get I was about to refinance it out, but then COVID hit and all the banks pulled back. So we're okay with just keep paying interest only. Our note's what, $2,500 a month? Typed in $17,000 a month. Go, let's go. Right?
Do you have a principal kicking in at any point in the future? Is there an interest only period?
Protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
Protect yourself. So we put in there, well, she's not happy that she didn't cover her bases. I did. I put a clause in there when I signed that owner finance note. I said, hey, you're not, if I can't get bank financing, you can't kick me out. Make sure that's in there. I mean, you can't like try to foreclose on the property. But she didn't know all that I had added. Well, she saw it. I added that in there. Now she came back to me after COVID. It's like, so I can't get financed right now. They're all banks gonna wait till COVID's done. It's like, then she sent me, that's fine. Just sign this new contract. And it was in there saying, hey, you gotta refinance it in 2 years or we're gonna foreclose. So if I sign her new contract, it cancels out my old contract. I said, I'm not signing nothing until, no, I'm not signing it. So she has to, so we just paying interest only. And there's nothing she could do about it. And so, but she's a nice lady. I mean, we're figuring it out, right?
And we've never known. I mean, it's not like we're not.
But her husband's 76, or how old is the owner? 82. He's
Mhm.
82. He wants his money before you. I mean, he's about to kick the bucket. So he wants his money. And I'm gonna get it refinanced. He already talked to some banks. Kyle's working on it. You got some really good these, and we're gonna help you guys too. You can, you know, if you need banking, big institutional money like hedge funds stuff, we're working on getting. I'm just not there yet. I haven't. They're out there. I don't know about them, but we're working through the vine of people that are, as the years go by and more money starts flowing to this, the hedge funds, then banks are like, oh, it's cool, yeah, we'll start banking this. It's coming. But owner finance is a really good option with these older parks.
How long do you put in for your finance? So you say I'm gonna go get finance, that's a big bump.
Yeah, it was 2 years. It was 2 years, and we came upon the 2 years, and we tried to get finance, and then COVID hit. The bank, the local bank in Panama City was about to do it. They're underwriting, and then COVID hit, and they said, nope, we'll hold off. So, but we really got to finance. But there's so much opportunity because they're not in it. A problem becomes an opportunity, right? Problem becomes an opportunity where we can get all this owner finance stuff.
So, but in your agreement, you didn't have the balloon in there already?
No.
You didn't have it, you had the clause.
I had a clause, and you cannot foreclose on me if I can't get refinanced with a traditional loan. That you're just gonna have to extend the interest only or renegotiate terms favorable to a bank, yeah. Just protect yourself. So I think that's a bit, like if you guys want it, like if you guys wanna come to the office, you know, and actually see all this, you know, hit me up after this. We can do like a 1 day or a 2 day where you just spend it's just me and you all day. We're gonna ride all the parks. We'll ride to the office, meet the girls, look at all the, their spreadsheets, all their, their operating systems. I'm not an operating system kind of guy. They got all that, like I'm just finding these deals, right? I'm the tip of the spear. Some of you guys are real techie and want to know like the exact system. I mean, I gave you a 50,000 foot view system. It doesn't mean my system works. You're gonna put your own touches into it, right? Just like everybody's wholesaling business here is different. It's like not one way. It's whatever works for you, whatever you want to fit your life. Okay? So hit me up before you leave today or tomorrow if you want to come out to the office, come spend the day with me, or and I have mentorship on just mobile home parks. And this is the wave of the future, folks. The economy is about to crash. Affordable housing is where it's at. So there's a reason why Warren Buffett and all those guys are moving all their money over here. So you don't want to get hosed when this thing comes crashing down, because all it's going to do is filter down from the condos, high-end apartments, to whatever's the cheapest and affordable. It's going to be this section right here. All right, makes sense. Any questions? Was this good? Yeah. Is this everything you need?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just get that list and start mailing them and sitting them up. So.